Okay, Chopper's back up. Now let me tell you, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I probably should have used a more secure thumbtack. But if Chopper falls down in this review, that's officially a sign from above that he's not going to make it out of this arc alive. All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Tekking101 here. Welcome back to One Piece manga chapter review. We're doing chapter 974 this time. Onwards to Onigashima. Oh, yeah. You know what that means, right? I think you do. The flashback is over. I mean, like, half of the chapter is still kind of flashbacky, and then there's, like, another flashback, like, to a couple months ago. But overall, we go back to the present about, halfway through this chapter, so we're good. All right, we're finally done with the Odin flashback arc. I made a video about that yesterday to kind of give, like, a final thought, a summary of all the important stuff that happened there. So let's dive back into this story. It's been so long that Oda actually includes a little snippet here in the chapter where he has to recap everybody on where we were at. It'd be like, all right, now going back to the future, all this stuff is going on. Remember? It's been like 5 months, so I felt like I should give you a refresher course. Okay, so first off, though, we got the cover page, and Goatee saved Chiffon! Yeah! Go, Goatee! You got it, buddy! I'm rooting for him now. He was the underdog in this. I did not care about this character at all, but he's bringing it home, all right? He is the MVP here. He rushes in to the Marines, like, battleship where they're carting her away, single-handedly blasts holes in the sides of the ship, grabs Chiffon, gets her out of there perfectly safe, and now he's rushing back to his captain. Goatee, I salute you, sir. I hope that this cover page finds you well. I hope it doesn't end with, like, a bullet in the back or something, right? Okay. So, we continue with the flashback. Hold up. Hold your horses there. We continue with the flashback, but it's a flashback to, like, a few months ago. Denjiro is already realized as Kyoshiro, and Komurasaki is about the same age as she is right now. Komurasaki, or Hiyori, is 26 right now. Right here, she's probably maybe, I would say, 25, or very close to the present timeline. We just get a little bit more of an elaboration between their relationship and the whole thing that happened with, her faking her death. Okay, so essentially, she was the one that was providing money, the funds that she got from, like, Bingo and Bongo and all the people that we originally assumed, like, oh, she's just a gold digger, she's just there to get the money from poor, hapless old people, but then we found out that, Bingo and his little group are just horrible people that she was getting the money from, and then she's taking that money and she's giving it to Kyoshiro, to Denjiro as Ushimatsu Kozo to distribute that to Ebisu Town. All right, so that's how the order of this really works. Komurasaki goes out, uses her Oiran wiles to get money from people that are horrible, and then she takes that money and then she gives it to Denjiro and then he distributes it, okay? He does voice his concerns about this, being like, oh, it's very dangerous for you to keep doing this, but, that's our duty. We have to help out the country as best as we can. So yes, I will go to Ebisu Town tonight and I will distribute this at once as the witching hour boy. Okay, now he also goes on to the next phase of the plan where he's like, make sure to wear the blood packs in your kimono at all times, okay? Because we could probably figure where that's going when they were doing the banquet at the palace with Orochi and everybody, when Robin was there and everything. After she slaps Orochi, Kyoshiro slices her down. We see the blood, the very dramatic fall, like, no! And then the shamisen plays up the death of Komurasaki, the finest Oiran that this country ever saw. And then she falls on the ground covered in blood. I'm assuming in the land of Wano and all that, medical science is really not, like, top level. You still good? All right. So, she gets cut down by Kyoshiro. Blood's everywhere. People were just like, oh, she's dead. Right? And then Kyoshiro's like, I'll handle her body. And then he takes her away for the funeral arrangements. So, yeah, just a couple of place-timed blood packs in her kimono, and he just, make sure the blade slices one of those. And Denjiro is a master with his katana, so I'm sure he knew exactly where the blood packs were. And just like, I'm just going to do this, and then slice the pack, and then, very well-timed, fainting motion, and then everybody thinks Komurasaki is dead. And so that's the whole thing there. So he says, make sure to wear the blood packs. The time is coming. The 20 years are almost here. So this very well might have been only like a couple of months before the Straw Hats arrived in Wano, or it could have been maybe like a year ago. Like, he's like, okay, we're almost, there's like 19 years. We got 1 year left, so you know, they don't know the exact time they're gonna pop back into the future. Denjiro is very confident that Toki's power is real, but they don't know if it's like, okay, is it like, you know, January 1st in 20 years, or is it gonna be like to the exact day when they like left? Were they gonna come back, or is it gonna be like a difference of a couple weeks? They have no idea. So it's best to be prepared for these kind of things whenever, right? So, now we cut over to a few months ago. This was the title card that actually gives us a few months ago, alright? So this was the exact day, or maybe like the day after, when Kinemon and his group arrived in the future, okay? So, as soon as they arrived in present-day Wano, and they left the Odin Castle, and they started, you know, looking around Wano, trying to figure out how much has changed in 20 years, trying to gather allies. Remember that one dude, Jibuemon, he arrived, and he was like, you know, I am the, you know, the servant of the Kozuki. We've waited for you for so long. You know, before they even left the country yet, this was before they even left the country to go to Zou and try to gather allies, Orochi already knew. He already found out pretty much as soon as they arrived in the present because of the traitor that's in their midst. I have no idea who that could possibly be, so I guess we better keep reading, shouldn't we? Yes, of course, we know who the traitor is at this point, but for dramatic effect, which I feel like the traitor would, you know, go along with his character, I feel like for dramatic effect, we should hold that off, okay? So, because of a traitor in their midst, sent a letter to Orochi as soon as they got back, and just been like, hey, yeah, dearest Orochi, it is I, your loyal snitch in the Kozuki clan's midst. It would appear that Lady Toki actually did have the ability to travel through time. Weird, isn't it? Well, turns out we just got here, so we're planning on leaving the country to go to Zou. You should probably station some guards around so people can, you know, find out when we're about to leave and then, you know, capture us and all that stuff. Hope you are well. I'm glad Kaido is still drinking as much as he always was. Yours truly. And then, you know, signs their names, so we'll find out. But yeah, Orochi's reading the letter to Kaido. Kaido and him are just, I don't know, do they have like Wednesday evening, just, you know, they hang out and drink? You know, like, usually it seems Kaido is based in Onigashima running his Beast Pirate Empire, and Orochi's in his throne room doing his thing, but I wonder if every now and then Kaido just knocks on the palace door and is like, Orochi answers it, and Kaido just holds up a big thing of sake and be like, hey man, what's up? You want some drink? I'm like, okay, Kaido, come on in and sit down, we'll have a drink. You know, so they're just like, you know, like next door neighbors that are like best friends. It's like, hey man, hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? How you doing, buddy? How's work? I'm like, oh, you know, it's just a mess running this country into the ground. I keep trying to get the country to just, you know, die off, but, you know, it's complicated. More complicated than you'd think. You want some crackers? Yeah, I'll take some crackers. You want some sake? Yeah, all right, let's watch the ball game, you know, together. All right. So anyway, they're chilling out, and Kaido actually, I mean, he's drunk, he's Kaido, but Kaido does have, he's a little dubious at first, like, oh, I guess that power really did exist? Are you sure? Like, even Kaido is second-guessing Orochi. Like, are you sure she had the ability to travel through time? Glug, glug, glug. Because it's probably a lot more likely someone's just screwing with you, because Kaido has had to live with Orochi being this paranoid dude for like 20 years now. And it's like, the Kozukis are coming back! Time travel! I knew it! You know, and so the day has finally come, and Kaido's like, well, ease off the gas pedal there. Are you sure they're really back? You know, time travel and all that. I mean, I could turn into a giant dragon and all. I have a guy on my crew that could become a freaking woolly mammoth, but, you know, time travel? I'm not sure. Well, anyway, it seems Orochi does convince Kaido, like, no, this is true. It matches everything, and we can trust this person in particular. And so Kaido is like, well, okay, tell you what. Let's say they really did travel through time, like some sort of 1980s breakout comedy. If they actually did, make sure you don't kill them, because I actually have some stuff I would like to ask the Kozuki clan and their, you know, retainers, the scabbards from 20 years ago. You know, and that's a question to ask, you know, what the question is that Kaido's going to ask, you know, like what would he ask Kinemon if he had, like, his audience there, you know? And that'll probably happen at some point during the raid. Maybe the scabbards will get captured or something, and then Kinemon's, like, being held up by chains or something in Kaido's chamber, and Kaido's just, like, taking a big drink of sake, and he's like, ugh. You're that foxfire dude, aren't you? It's like, yes, I am loyal to Lord Odin. Yeah, I know. I have a question I want to ask you. Something that's been on my mind for 20 years. I haven't slept a wink because of this question. Ugh. What the hell was Odin's balls made out of? It's driven me to almost madness. I can't get them out of my head for some reason. Just in that pot for an hour, just boiling and just getting hotter and just, what the hell were they made out of? You know, Odin's, Kinemon's up there. I will never reveal to you that secret of our clan. Okay? But no, he has a question to ask him, probably relating to something to Odin and the Kozuki line and what it really means and stuff like that. You know, and it got brought up even from, you know, when we were doing Odin's execution, and Kaido was like, you know, I have a little bit of begrudging respect for you, Odin, and it seemed like their conversation should have continued longer, but Kaido is like, well, Orochi's right here, you know, this has to happen, but they'll talk about this day until the end of time, and he shoots him dead. But you can feel there's some unanswered questions that Kaido was a little curious about, so we'll see where that goes there. But now we get a little bit of a flashback well, not really a flashback proper, it's more of just Orochi remembering things that happened, okay? So basically what this is the story of the traitor, and why Orochi trusts him as much as he does, even though Orochi is so paranoid. He's like, no, this person we can trust. At a very young age, he was a member of a theater troupe, okay? And so, you know, they would travel Wano and put on the shows like Kabuki theater and stuff, and eventually at one of these shows, his family, his parents, were just murdered on stage. Like, they were literally just doing, like, this is the story of the mighty Ryuma and how he slayed and then people are just rushing up on stage and like, so just, you know, his parents just murdered right there on stage right next to him, okay? And so this person eventually ended up finding Orochi and discovered that Orochi was part of the main family of the Kurozumi clan. And so this person was like, well, I was looking for a place to die anyway, because my parents got killed right in front of me, and I've been in the theater my whole life. I've been an actor, so I've really just been looking for a place to die. But hey, if you got something for me to do, fine. And Orochi's plan was like, I have a role for I don't just have a plan for you, I have a role for you. You are going to take the role of a member of the Kozuki clan. You're going to become a loyal retainer of them, and you are going to pass on information to me, and you are going to fulfill this role until the day you die. And like I said, this individual is like, I already am gonna die anyway, I don't really care about my life, so fine. If the one thing I've been good at my whole life is, you know, being an actor, so might as well do that, so sure, I'll listen to you. Now, why would this individual listen to Orochi, of all people? Because this was before, I mean, Orochi was gaining power, but this was before Orochi had as much power as he was. This was like over 20 years ago. Long before that even, like probably closer to like 30-something years ago. So, we'll find out about that when we reveal the identity of this mystery person, okay? But that's the basis. And also, we see a devil fruit there. It wasn't revealed what the devil fruit was yet, but provides a devil fruit to this individual. So, you know, Higurashi provides the Yamato no Orochi to Orochi, and then Orochi provides this devil fruit to the snitch, to the traitor. Still don't know the name of this devil fruit, but we'll find out whose it is. Okay, so he has a devil fruit. Now, something else that Orochi even mentions is like, we can trust this guy because 20 years ago, this person was one of the scabbards that was present at Odin's execution. He very almost got boiled alive, just like Odin did, and he suffered alongside them, so you know he is trustworthy. You know that he will, you know, adhere to the trust that Orochi placed in him to his literal dying breath, because he almost died in that pot along with Odin. So if he went through that and he's still loyal to me, then this is a guy I can trust, okay? So, we now cut back to the present, and here's that little snippet I told you about. We get various scenes of like, now we transition 20 years in the future after Odin's death. Kinemon and his group arrived, and they gathered up, you know, allies. They went to Punk Hazard, they went to Dressrosa, they went to Zoe, they found the Straw Hats, they went back to Wano. There's a little side arc involving Totland and Sanji, but that's not really important in the recap. And then they get to that point, and they're like, we've gathered 4,200 soldiers, we got weapons, we got swords, we got ships, we have badass samurai armor, we got Hyuragoro, we got Luffy learning Ryuo, we got all this really cool stuff at our disposal here. We liberated an entire prison camp. It's like, all right, here we go. The ultimate rebellion is about to happen. Or not. He's like, well, it didn't exactly go as planned, so what are you gonna do, right? So now we cut back to the Tokage port, where it's completely wrecked, a giant storm is raging, lightning, thunder, clouds, rocky waves, all that shit. And, now you remember there was a little boat. There was like one little rowboat that still survived, and they were getting on the boat, and, you know, originally they're like, you know, Kinemon was crying, if you remember back then. He was like crying into the little smale thing, like, we can't face Kaido alone! We're only 9 strong! We need more people! And so it seems like he's recovered from that a little bit. Maybe Ashura Doji like slap. It's like, Kinemon, get a hold of yourself, man! And so they're all getting in the boat, except for Shinobu and Momo. They're gonna stay on the shore. Shinobu is still crying, and she's holding Momo, because they can't bring Momo with them. And Kinemon kind of like, he tries to like put on a positive attitude to Momo as best as he can, which is essentially like, well, tell you what, Momo, because there's only like 9 of us, tell you what we could do, actually even less than that, because Neko's not there, and Kyoshiro's not there, and Shinobu's not going with them. So they're like, all right, we're in this boat and we're leaving. Tell you what, because there's so few of us, that actually just makes it easier. We could just sneak into Onigashima unseen, like a stealth operation, and just, you know, slit Kaido's throat and call it a day, Momo. Don't worry, we'll be back before supper. So it's not a good plan at all, but it's the best that Kinemon could like drag up out of nothing in order to give a little bit of optimism to Momo. Like, we can still do this. It's cool. We can still make this work. We can still salvage this. Oh, it's broken into like a million pieces. There's no way we could salvage this, but we can salvage this. So they set out to sea in a huge storm and just a tiny little rowboat. And let's just be straight up, Ashura Doji, I mean, it's gonna rock the boat a little bit there, you know? I keep picking on Ashura Doji. Inarashi's almost, he's a tall dude too. He's also gonna offset the weight, right? Even Kinemon is pretty tall. Kinemon's like the same height as Brook. He's a pretty tall dude anyway. But anyway, so they're all rowing their little boat here, and while this is happening, they're all thinking the same thing. They all finally bring it up, like, I didn't want to say it earlier, but there's definitely a traitor that's one of us. Like, that has to be the case. Like, there's literally no other, you know, reasoning for how not only the first time it got leaked, but the second time it got leaked, and there's always, like, Orochi seems to always be one step ahead of us no matter what we do. You know, there has to be a traitor in our own midst. At this point, though, Kinemon's like, you know what? At this point, I don't even care. I don't even know who it is. You know, at this point, I'd rather not know. Kiku gets really upset by that. Kiku grabs Kinemon like, how could you say that? You know, if there is a traitor, if there was someone that betrayed Lord Odin and us, we need to know about that right now. We need to cut them down. And Kinemon's like, yes, I know, Kiku, but what are we gonna do? The person has been, you know, here for years probably, and they're not gonna reveal themselves, so what are we gonna do? And Kanjuro's like, yes, I understand, Kinemon. I understand how you feel, man, but I think we should just clear the air here. I'm the traitor. What? Wait, okay, I'm good. Sorry, I got stuck in a... Yeah, okay, my throat was doing something weird there. Yeah, so Kanjuro's the traitor. Okay. Okay, I will say, props to Oda for the transition there. That was beautiful. Like, it was literally like an actor, like, just pulling back the mask at the last minute there. Like, you could have really built that up. You could have had, like, Kanjuro sitting in the boat, just listening to everybody, like, who's the traitor? We need to find the traitor, Kinemon. I know, Kiku, I just don't know. Kawamatsu's like, we need to find the traitor now. And you could, that whole time while that argument was going on, you could have just had Kanjuro in the corner of the boat, just being like quiet, not saying anything, like and then, oh yeah, you could have had the evil laugh. The evil laugh cranks up. Everybody's arguing, and then just, they start to hear like a weird laugh in the distance, like, Kiku, I know! Who's laughing? And they just all turn to look at Kanjuro, and he's like, I am the traitor! But no, they didn't do that. They literally had it like Kanjuro yelling alongside everybody else, like, I know how you feel, Kinemon, I know how you feel! We need to find the traitors, so I should probably just tell you that it's me. Like a boss! He just drops that nail. Everybody immediately is like, what, Kanjuro, you can't be, like, you know, it's like, oh, you can't be doing that, you gotta be joking, quit kidding around, blah, blah, blah. You know how that usually goes when you find out one of your closest friends and your comrades has been a traitor and a piece of shit the entire time. You're not gonna buy it right away. But he begins to explain a little bit, and he's like, you know, oh, I've spent so many hours with you. I didn't hate you guys. I did send, you know, money over to Orochi, and I did provide him with information, but I never hated you all. In fact, I was perfectly willing to die. I was perfectly willing to get roasted alive in a giant pot of oil alongside all of you, if that is what Orochi asked of me. And so he begins to explain all this stuff, and obviously the first question everybody out of everyone's mouth at this point is, why? Why would you do that? Why would you listen to Orochi? Why? Why would you pledge allegiance to him and not Odin or us? And, you know, Orochi, who is clearly the bad guy. And Kanjuro replies very simply with, oh, you didn't know? My name is Kanjuro Kurozumi. I wonder if they ever asked him what his last name was. Wouldn't that be a kick in the teeth if they just never asked him? Like, we didn't know you were a Kurozumi. You never asked me. We've been friends for like over a decade or so, probably closer to 2 decades. You never once asked me what my last name is. You know, probably he just said, my name is Kanjuro, or Kanjuro of the rain. No, that's Shiryu of the rain. Kanjuro, oh, evening shower Kanjuro. That was his epithet. There's a lot of epithets that involve rain. Even Shusui is like clear autumn water, or clear autumn rain. Okay, so anyway, yeah. But, yeah, his full name is Kanjuro Kurozumi. So this pieces things together a little bit more, okay? So we have young Kanjuro, probably like a little kid, probably no older than like 5, 6, 7 years old, working in a theater troupe with his parents and his family, and then all of a sudden, one night at a show, people in the crowd figured out, hey, those are Kurozumis up there. And of course, one of the old-time pastimes of Wano was Kurozumi hunting, because it's like, oh yeah, that one Kurozumi poisoned those daimyos couple of generations back. Oh, there are Kurozumis here? Grab your katanas, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to go on a good old-fashioned Kurozumi hunt. Oh man, it's been a while. So they just storm the stage and hack down Kanjuro's parents right in front of him. He manages to escape. I should probably bring up at that point right there, so yes, Kanjuro does dress like a kabuki actor, but it was never revealed that he was that, okay? The most that we got from Kanjuro's backstory was that he was living in the Kibi region, digging up corpses, ripping off their hair, and then making brushes to sell. Actually, now that I know about, think about that a little bit more, that is kind of messed up. That's actually really messed up. It's weird that we didn't think about this earlier. Like, you know, Raizo was a ninja that got burnt by, you know, one of his unrequited loves, so he decided to live out in the jungle. Ashura Doji, okay, fine, he was like a bandit boss or whatever, but at least he was out in front with it, right? You get to Kanjuro and it's like, yeah, I dig up corpses and rip off their hair and make paintbrushes out of them. Be like, right then and there, that should have been the moment where you're being like, okay, you are seriously jacked up. We're just gonna leave you here. Don't follow us, please. You know, like that should have kind of queued you up right there. All the backstories out of all of the scabbards, I mean, some of them are really messed up, but that one is like really disturbing, okay? You know, I'll give it to you there. If you had a choice between recruiting Ashura Doji, the boss of this bandit group out in the middle of the lawless land who drinks snake blood for dinner, you know, like between that guy or the guy that digs up corpses and rips off their hair to make paintbrushes, I would probably go with Ashura Doji in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, at a young age though, he probably, I would imagine his personality got warped to the point where it's like, I don't even want to be who I really am. You know, I was an actor. I'm just going to pretend. Like, maybe he felt secure and safe whenever he took on a role. So he doesn't have to be himself. I don't have to be Kanjuro Kurozumi. I don't have to be the guy that parents were killed right in front of me, his whole family was wiped out, and I was chased around the country just because of my name. I can take on the role of Kanjuro of the Evening Shower, who is a scabbard under Odin, a vassal of the Kozuki clan. Yes, that is who I will be from now on. So I felt like that definitely had a part to play in this, that he was an actor through and through. Some people have asked, you know, where's all the foreshadowing of this? There wasn't as much foreshadowing as there should have been. Okay, so here's my thoughts on that, all right? Look, whenever you're gonna pull this, whenever you're gonna pull there was a secret, you know, traitor in your midst the entire time, you're kind of walking on a very thin tightrope there. You give too many hints to the audience, it's super obvious. It's super obvious who the traitor is, and it's like, okay, we already know that who's the traitor, you know? So you don't want to make it too obvious, but on the opposite end, if you do not give any, you know, if you just all of a sudden like, oh yeah, by the way, Frankie was a traitor the entire time to the Straw Hats. No build-up, no setup, no even discussions that there was a traitor in the Straw Hat group. All of a sudden, oh yeah, Frankie's the traitor. He's been the entire time. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So the best way to do this, at least in my opinion, is circumstantial evidence. So don't have it be super obvious. Like, Oda could have done that, and I've seen that done with other manga. Have it be really obvious, like maybe off to the side, Kanjuro is, you know, like a weird smirk. Because readers pick that shit up. Let's say there was one panel where Kanjuro was off to the side and everybody else was really upset and crying over Odin, but Kanjuro was smirking instead. Even if it was a tiny little panel off to the side, readers pick that stuff up and be like, Kanjuro's the traitor, right there. It's pretty obvious, right? He's smirking when everyone else is crying. He's the traitor. But, you know, that's too obvious. So circumstantial evidence instead. For example, and Kanjuro even brings it up here, he's like, how did you think that Jack and, you know, Kaido's crew got to Zou? The only way to get to Zou is with a Vivre card. All right, so the fact that they were able to follow us all the way to Zou, and the fact that they were going to know that Raizo was there, one of us had to be the traitor there. Now, I did a few videos about this. I basically narrowed it down to either Raizo or Kanjuro as the traitor. In terms of like a shocking moment in the story, Kinemon being the traitor would probably have the most shock value, because we've been with him for the longest, and he seemed to be the most loyal to Odin. So if he turned out to be the traitor, and Oda somehow spun it in a way to make sense, that would be the most shocking thing to me. So yes, I was kind of already expecting either Raizo or Kanjuro to be the traitor in this particular instance here. I was pretty confident that it wasn't anybody that was still in the country for 20 years, so that excludes Ashura Doji, Kawamatsu, and Denjiro, you know, because they obviously didn't time jump with the rest of them. They weren't on the same page. It had to be somebody that did the time jump. But also, we just got introduced to Kawamatsu and everybody in this arc, you know, so how weird would it be, like, oh yeah, there's a traitor in our midst. Oh yeah, it's Kawamatsu, the guy we just got introduced to like 10 chapters ago. You know, that would be kind of weak. It had to be somebody we were traveling with for a while. So Kinemon was a prime suspect, and Kanjuro and Raizo were prime suspects. And even with Raizo, we have not traveled with Raizo all that much. Yeah, it's really nuts when you think about one of the whole reasons you went, the crew went to Dressrosa to rescue Kanjuro. That was one of the reasons. It wasn't the main reason. They had to go with Law to like break down the Smile Factory and get rid of Doflamingo and everything. But one of the side quests was Kanjuro. Makes you think that Kinemon should have just left him in the trash compact. Oh my god! We literally get first introduced to Kanjuro in a pile of garbage. He's literally hiding in a trash compactor when we first find him, when Kinemon finds him. That should have queued some people up. You know, not really, that didn't queue me up, but just like the symbolism, like, oh, you're a piece of trash traitor. Literally find him in a giant pile of trash, you know, eating lettuce, right? Okay, so yeah. We're going to continue the chapter here. We pick up some few other things as we go along here. But yeah, Kanjuro is the traitor. He mentions everything involving Yasuie. Oh yeah, Yasuie was the martyr. He died so that the plan could change. But of course, who was the one that took Yasuie's body? Who's the one that buried Yasuie? It was Kanjuro. He's the one that took the body. He was crying like everybody else. And he found out what the secret was. And he relayed that back to Orochi. Oh yeah, they're changing their plans. It's Tokage Port now, bro. Alright, thank you, Kanjuro. Yeah, no problem. You know, you want me to paint you something? I'm good. Go back to your being a traitorous, duplicitous person. I'm like, gotcha. Duplicitous. That is such a fun word you don't get to use very often. Duplicitous. Oh, yes. So now shit kind of hits the fan. Like, you know, we're dialing this up to like 11 because all of a sudden the Beast Pirate ships just emerge out of the storm. And they are huge galleons. Kaido has intimidation on his side, all right? We got a giant skull for the figurehead. We got the kanji for 100 Hyaku up there on the sail. We got the, you know, the 100 Beast Pirates symbol up there. They arrive in style. It's mostly the pleasures because they're all smirking and laughing, and one dude's got like a metal jaw and he's like, oh my god, they were actually stupid enough to sail in a tiny little rickety rowboat. My god, this is working great for us. And hey, look, there's our traitor too. There's our guy on the inside, and Kanjuro's like, sup? So at this point though, you know, Kinemon's had enough. He's had enough of the explanation. He recovers from the initial shock of, like, what? And he takes out his sword, and with one swipe, he's just like, Kanjuro! Sliced him, and then his head just gets lopped off, and it splashes down on the boat, splashes quite literally because it dissolves into ink, and the rest of his body is still talking to them, so you figure where this was going right here. It kind of honestly reminds me of that moment in Bleach when everyone found out Aizen was, you know, the bad guy, and then Komamura arrives, and he's like, Aizen! You know, just like letting all the rage out at once, like, it's this entire time! And so, he slices his head off, but Kanjuro's body is still there talking to them, so it's just a drawing, it's just an ink clone, so to speak, to take a page out of Killer Bee's playbook from Naruto there. It's an ink clone, it dissolves, which I guess kind of mentions, like, you know, before it was kind of ambiguous because it has the qualities of ink, he draws things and it makes it reality. So what if it's like in the rain, or what if it's like in a situation where it's something moisted, something that ink would, or paint would run on, and it seems like he can draw and have ink figures in the rain, so that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if it'll come up later, but it's something to keep in mind. So the drawing disappears, but keep in mind, this was a perfect drawing of Kanjuro. Kanjuro looked exactly like he did, so it's indistinguishable. And so Inuarashi even mentions this, like, wow, this Kanjuro, you know, can actually draw. The one we knew didn't draw at all. That's impossible. It's like, so he was even lying about that. So all the times Kanjuro drew those really poor, you know, animals that could barely fly, and Ryunosuke could have been a badass dragon, but no, he's this poor, you know, pitiful being because Kanjuro just didn't want to, you know, blow his cover. He also mentions, like, oh yeah, by the way, the only reason I'm revealing myself now is because Orochi expressly told me that the play is over. You know, the final act has been, the curtain has been drawn, my job is over, so I can reveal myself now. If that wasn't for Orochi's orders, he would have just, you know, until the end, he would have just died alongside the scabbards with the rest of the Beast Pirates, but Orochi gave him the command, so he's like, no. So the actual Kanjuro is actually on the shore, and we get a scene with this, but it's at a distance. So remember, Shinobu was holding Momo. We cut to the shore. We see a body lying next to Kanjuro. So I'm assuming Kanjuro took out his paintbrush katana, whatever, and he, like, bonked Shinobu on the back of the head, knocked her out, so she's there, and then Kanjuro grabs Momonosuke and, like, haha, I have Lord Momonosuke now, I'll bring you to Kaido, and everyone's freaking out because they're surrounded by Kaido ships in the middle of the water, and Kanjuro's back on land, so they can't turn back, they're screwed, okay? Or are they? A big explosion happens, part of the Kaido ship just gets blasted and just boom! And they're like, whoa, what the hell happened? And then you just hear a bunch of talking in the distance like, you know, oh my god, how could you sleep so long? Oh, that's fine, I ate, I sleep, and I woke up. I'm at full power now. I wonder who that's going to be. Probably Brook. Brook sleeps a lot, you know? No, it's Luffy, of course, and we see Luffy obscured by a speech bubble, so we don't see his face, but we see Luffy's body, and he's just like, sorry we're a little late, everybody! And the next thing you know, the ocean underneath the rowboat that they're sailing in just begins to rise up out of nowhere, like, whoa, what's going on? And then, boom, you got the Polar Tang, the Heart Pirates submarine, it arrives, the rowboat is on top of it, Law is there speaking through. He's like, how could you sail out to sea in a storm in a rowboat? How stupid do you samurais have to be? This is no laughing matter. So Law rescues them, and then before they can recover from their ship getting blasted from the one side, it boom gets blasted from the other side, and then Kid's there, and he walks out in his ship, the Victoria Punk, I think the name of his ship is, and he's just like, man, all those damn ships lying around just waiting to get blasted. Damn straight, I didn't blast them myself. So that seems to imply that I don't think all the ships got sunk. That would really suck if all those ships that they built up to, they got sunk. I think they got moved to another location. Maybe some of them got sunk, but not all of them, alright? Because that would be really bad. The Sunny is there as well. The Sunny, last time we saw it, was apparently destroyed in the cave. We don't know what happened with that yet. Or there might have been some damage, because I think Luffy even mentions, or somebody on the ship mentions, there was like some repairs that needed to be done, but it wasn't like a complete destruction. So there's still pieces of this we need to, you know, fit together in the next chapter of like how everybody arrived at this one place at this time, and answer some questions. But for right now, we just don't need to worry about that. For right now, we just need to ride that hype train. So the final scene of the chapter, you have Law, no, I'm doing this right. You have Trafalgar D, Water Law. You got Monkey D, Luffy. You got Eustace, Captain Kidd, arrive. big double page spread, all three of them like, hey, you samurai, you don't know how to fight in the ocean, you know, and, you know, he's saying that the Kaido's crew is just like, at sea, you guys fight pirates, not samurai, and then that's the end of the chapter. I'm actually really enjoying that Oda did this, because I was thinking there was going to be a little while until, like, this force, because, like, Kid and Luffy and Law are already working together. There was that whole thing with Law doing something, and Kid went off on his own, so I thought it was going to be a while until all of them joined back up together for the battle, and then they're just all here. But honestly, considering we went through such a long flashback, I think Oda was sitting there, and he's like, I need to give them this. I need to give the readers this. I need to have Kid and Luffy and Law all there together. I'll explain how this all happened later, but I just need to start this battle off right. I need to start it off big and bombastic. Here are the characters you care about. Bam, Luffy. Bam, Law. Bam, Kid. Working together. They're gonna decimate these beast pirate ships, and they're gonna save the samurai. And then that's the end of the chapter right there. Boo, yeah! Alright, so, like I said, a lot of questions here. I want to know what was up with Law, because I feel Law did some stuff after he left the prison. What did Kid do? I'm sure Kid did some other stuff with his crew, and Killer, you know, gathered his crew together. Where was his ship at the entire time? That's a question. I'm sure Law parked his submarine somewhere around Wano. That's fine. What happened with the Sunny? Did it use, like, chicken, you know, like chicken voyage at the last minute to avoid the explosion, to avoid the cave-in? Frankie and Usopp might have fixed it up a little bit there. Luffy's outfit, you know, I don't know if it's the same outfit he always wears. It looks like Luffy's kind of wearing like a high-collar like jacket or something, which I think would fit him perfectly, like a high-collared leather jacket. He shows up like, yeah, guys, let's do this. So we have to get to see that, but it might be his same outfit, but I think it's something different. I think he's wearing something a little different than his normal like outfit. But anyway, yeah, Law's there with his sword, and Kid's there. Kid got some new goggles! His old goggles were all cracked and broken in the prison, so he's got those. Something else important to mention here, Kanjuro didn't know they were going to arrive. Kanjuro is just as dumbfounded as all of them. He's like, wait a second, I didn't hear about this. And even the people on the ship were like, wait a second, I thought Kid and Luffy, I thought they were in the prison. I'm like, did you? I thought it was revealed that Orochi knew that the prison was lying about all that stuff. So that's a little weird. Yeah, Orochi, because Orochi was like, hey, how's Udon doing? And everyone's like, yeah, everything's good here in Udon, sir. Yeah, bunch of liars. So I thought that, you know, Orochi was already queued up that, you know, Kid and Luffy and everybody had escaped the prison and Baba Nuki was just lying to them. But maybe maybe that's not the case, or maybe these guys didn't get the memo. I don't know. But they're there now. So immediately after what I think is going to happen now is that these fleets, this initial battle, this is like the first battle of the rebellion, okay? The first official battle at sea towards Onigashima. These three, you know, worst generation, these three supernovas are going to work together. They're going to destroy these ships, okay? Filled with just probably like pleasures. Nobody really heavy hitting. There's probably none of the calamities on board or anything, like Jack's not on board. They're going to wipe out these galleons. And then after the galleons are going to wiped out, they're going to get regrouped, and the other ships are going to arrive from the rebellion and everything, and it's like, all right, here's the whole thing, you know, here's what happened with the Sunny, here's how we ended up here, here's the problem with the rebellion and why we were late and all that stuff. Like, they're going to explain all of that, and then they're going to have their rightful attack on Onigashima, and now they're going to reveal, like, well, now Kanjuro, we know Kanjuro was the traitor, so we don't have Kanjuro with us anymore. He left. It's very likely that Kanjuro might still kidnap Momo, and so this is going to be like a rescue Momo arc to get him into the thick of things. Because think about it, like, if they didn't do that, if they didn't have Kanjuro kidnap Momo, then Momo would just be sitting on the shore the entire time with Shinobu while the actual battle happened on Onigashima. Momo is extremely important to this whole thing because he's going to be leading Wano after this. He can't just sit on the sidelines the entire time and, like, while the battle's going on. He's a little kid, but he has relevance here. So Momo needs to get to Onigashima even as a captive. So, you know, he's there with Kaido and Orochi, and there's, like, relevance with that, okay? So Kanjuro's probably going to get away with Momo. Shinobu was probably knocked unconscious, so she'll be coming back to her senses soon. And they're like, okay, well, at least we don't have to worry about our plans getting leaked anymore, because Kanjuro's already been outed. Orochi got a little bit too complacent. He thought everything was in play, and he thought, okay, Kanjuro, it's okay. It's time for you to lift the veil. You can reveal to them your master plan the entire time. It's okay, because we've already won. But it's like, aha, we've won. And it's like, no, you haven't. What? No, Straw Hat, like, Kid, Law, what? And so, you know, that'll be good there. Whew, it's good to be back, though. No break next week. Everything seems to be going along swimmingly. I'm pumped. I hope you're pumped. Are you pumped, Barry? Chopper's pumped. Chopper didn't fall down. Chopper's good. I'm tempting fate, but it's fine. Chopper's gonna be okay, guys. Yeah, so next chapter, look forward. Honestly, if Oda's just gonna keep it rolling, I think next chapter we're just gonna start off with the battle. Big epic sea battle between these ships and these crews, just to see really what they could do. It's been a while since we've seen the Sunny in a proper naval fight, you know, with like firing cannonballs and like the Gao cannon maybe and shit like that. So that'd be really cool to see. And so I think it's just roll with that. Wait until after this initial scuffle is over, then explain everything that happened, you know, catch everybody up to speed on what was the deal there. But yeah, great chapter, phenomenal way to transition back from the flashback. We're back on track, we're doing this. Kanjuro is the traitor. Some people also mentioned during the opening of Over the Top, we also see Kanjuro in the background, his back like facing the scabbards, like, oh, they also spoiled that. And I'm like, I mean, kind of, but it's not as obvious as Denjiro, because that's very clearly Kyoshiro in Denjiro's spot, so that's why it's obviously Denjiro. But just because Kanjuro was, like, looking back, I mean, even Inuarashi in this opening was also kind of looking off to the side in the back, you know? But, okay, I mean, I guess you want to say that they spoiled it the entire time. I still saw a lot of people that were surprised it was Kanjuro, you know, and I saw a lot of people that were like, we knew it was Kanjuro the whole time. But, yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't a character we just got introduced to. It was a character that we've known for a while, so that makes sense. The situational evidence, like Zoe and how they managed to get to Zoe and there was somebody on the inside, that all makes sense, too, to me. So yeah, Riser or Kanjuro, I would have been cool with it, right? Well, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be doing a video on Kanjuro. Don't worry about that. We'll be really diving into all of this, like every single moment with Kanjuro. I'll go through that like a fine-tooth comb and look at everything. But until then, signing out. Thanks, everybody. Tekking out of here.